So let's take a look at what is called the chain rule. No more rules after this one, I promise. This is the last one. So what does the chain rule represent? So remember what we said when we differentiated x to the nth power. Anyone can tell us what this equals to? So n goes in front, and we subtract 1 from the power. And I always like to tell my students, I should also have x prime. This function, the inner, this is the inner function. This power is the outer function. But how much is x prime? How much is x prime? What is the slope of x right here in front?
1.
1. So x prime is always 1. Well, the chain rule deals with what happens when this is not plain x. So this derivative will not be 1. So this equals 1. That's why we don't write it. So what if we have a function raised to power n prime? That will be the chain rule. What does it mean? N times the function to n minus 1, but this time I cannot consider this to be 1. I have to write f prime. So this is basically a combination of the chain rule, so chain rule, and power rule together. So always remember how I say it, and if you remember how I say it, you will never make a mistake. A function to power n prime, n, the function to n minus 1 times the inner function prime. This is the inner. This is the outer. I'm applying this function or this power to this function. Inner, outer. One more time. N times f to n minus 1 times the inner function prime. Good. Next. What if I have a function of another function? This is called function composition. Can I give an example? Can we give an example? Sure. For example, the square root of 2x minus 1. Which one is the inner? And which one is the outer function? Can anyone look at this and say, oh, I know the inner is, and I will write it here. And somebody else will say, oh, I know the outer function is, and I'll write it here.
Is the inner 2x minus 1?
Absolutely. That's the inner. What is the outer? What function is the outer?
2.
One more time. What function is applied to 2x minus 1? That will be the outer.
Square root x.
Brilliant. Exactly. That's why I covered it. So you don't see it, so you don't say anything else but the square root of x. This will be a function composition. It turns out that it's the same idea with the power rule. So how do I differentiate this? So the square root of a function prime, because we remember the square root of x prime. Can anyone give us the formula for the square root of x prime?
X equals 1 half.
X 1 over 2, the square root of x. I should have said times the inner function prime. But why didn't I say that? Why didn't I say multiply by x prime? Because that's the inner. Why didn't I say that? because it is how much is x prime again?
1.
Exactly. But I can no longer say this here because this is a function, it's not plain x. So when I differentiate, I follow everything I see here, 1/2 the square root of the function. But now this is a function, this is not x. This is not x, it's 2x minus 1 times the function prime. So let's follow the steps and differentiate the square root of 2x minus 1. Can anyone tell us what to write? All you have to do is mimic this, and I'll write it. Can anyone tell us what to write? It's okay if you're wrong.
I can try it.
Very good. Awesome. Let's try it.
Is it 1 over the 2 times root 2x minus 1?
Of course.
And
Times
then times 2x minus 1?
careful,
Oh, the prime.
times the inner
Okay.
function prime, which is it's the slope of 2x minus 1. It's a linear
So
function.
just 2x.
The slope of 2x minus 1.
So 2.
Exactly. Awesome. Simplify, and we get 1 over the square root of 2x minus 1. Very good. So let's open it to discussion. I'm opening what I meant to do, and okay. So chapter 1 and 1.7. I'm going to go to 1.8 and then back. Because it's easier, a couple of pages. Or I can just enter 171 when it opens up. I can enter something if I find my keyboard. I did find it. 171 and enter. Okay. So let's choose, differentiate each function using the chain rule. Anything you like to pick from 1 through 40. And then even more, 42. Anything you like to pick. Some of them are hairy, of course. Some of
11.
Let's start with 11. Perfect. So for 11, we have y equals x minus 4 to the 8th power, 2x plus 3 to the 6th power. Oh, very good. Thank you. So notice that this has a lot of work required because, first of all, it's a product. It's a function number 1 and function number 2. And also I see powers. So I have to use the product rule, the chain rule, the power rule. It's a lot of work. So let's try. Y prime or dy over dx, same thing. Or f prime of x, they all mean the same thing. Okay, so remember this is a product. The first function prime times the second one. So when I differentiate a function to the 8th power, I have to use this rule. A function raised to the 8th power will be 8, the function to 8 minus 1, times the inner function prime. So how do we write this? 8, x minus 4 to 8 minus 1, and times the inner function prime. What is the inner function prime? What does it equal to? The derivative of x minus 4.
1.
Very good. I don't have to write anything. Times the second function. Plus, one more time, first function prime times the second function plus the first function times the second function
Can
prime.
you slow down a little bit?
Say it again.
Can you slow down a little bit? Going
Yeah.
a little fast.
I have to finish tonight. I will do it.
Oh yeah, that's true. We gotta
Do it.
speed
I'll do it as slowly as possible. So what I'm doing here is I am applying the chain rule when it's needed, and then I'm using the power rule, the product rule from last time. So 1 times 2 prime is 1 prime times 2 plus 1 times 2 prime. First function prime is this, times the second function, and then plus. I copy the first function, and times the second function prime. Can anyone give us the derivative of this? And I'll put it here.
6 times 2x plus 3 to the 5th.
To the 5th times the inner function prime times the inner function prime. If we forget this, we cannot get the correct answer. Times the inner function prime. Always times the inner function prime, which is
it 2?
exactly the inner function. Sorry about that. So the inner function prime is indeed the derivative of 2x plus 3, which is indeed 2. I have to try to simplify this function a little bit. Since it's kind of squeezed in there, I'm going to write it again. You don't have to copy this again, but I want to, so I'm explaining what I'm doing. So I'm just going to rearrange a little bit. Maybe you should copy it one more time. So 2x plus 3 to the 6th power, and this is 2 times 6, which is positive 12, x minus 4 to the 8th, and 2x plus 3 to the 5th power. So this is one term, one product, and this is a second term, one product. Do we see any common factors? Do we see any common factors in these two terms? From these two, what common factor 8 and 12 have?
I don't know, I cannot see clearly.
What do you mean, Tess?
It's blurry, Professor Lee. Sometimes it gets blurry.
Oh, did I do something?
Now it's good, but sometimes it gets blurry that you can't.
Well,
see.
just please stop me when that happens. I wasn't aware of that. I'm so sorry. So 8 and 12 have 4 in common. I see x minus 4 in both. What power do I pull out from 7 and 8? Which power? Which one is common? How many are in common? So I can put the power here. Anyone? So which power do we pull out?
Are we talking about inside or outside? Or
I'm talking
just-
about the power.
No, none of them are common.
7, right? The smallest of the two. This one has 7 and this one has 8. So 7 are in common.
Okay.
What about 2x plus 3? Because I see 2x plus 3 in both terms. Which power goes out? What is the...
5.
Exactly. Awesome. So 8 is out. What is left from these two? if I pull out a 4 out of 8, what factor is left inside? Four times what? 4 times what number is 8?
X minus 4.
4 times what number is 8?
2.
Good. So from x minus 4 to the 7th power, we took all of them out. So there is nothing left. From 2x plus 3 to the 6th power, we took 5 out. How many are left inside? This times this has to give us that.
1.
Very good. 2x plus 3. I reached positive. From 12, I took out factor 4 out. What is left inside still?
3.
Excellent. So from x minus 4 to the 8th power, I took 7 out. How many are still left in parentheses?
X minus 4.
Exactly, to power 1. Awesome. These 5 are out. Now, can I check my work? Yes. 4 times 2 is 8. X minus 7.
Still it is blurring, Professor. No, maybe for me, I don't know.
Yes, yes, it is.
It is for me too.
And it says that something wrong with your bandwidth.
Is it mine? But I don't see
Yes.
any message for me. At my end, there is no message that says that it's blurry.
Yeah.
Which means you have
It gets
poor
even
connection.
smaller.
Is it my connection? You think it's my
Yeah.
connection?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it says Monica Lid's network bandwidth is low.
Okay, so what should I do then? Should I close the Zoom and open it again?
It
Probably.
might help.
Is that what you suggest I should do?
Or you can check your modem and router.
But still, I will have to turn off everything and restart, right?
If someone in your house is using the internet, they might be doing something to affect your connection.
I don't think so, but so let's make a decision what I should do. Tell me what to do and I'll do it.
I think that's a good idea if you just go out and come again.
Okay, I will do just that. I will see you in a blink.